Nice and easy way of doing this. Break the automation wire. It defaults to off. Let's get that done. Oh, they need 100 milligrams of pressure to plant. Well, that's fine. That's fine. I'll get them to do the planting before I do other things. I'll cancel this build for now as a result. I'll deconstruct this as a result. And I will build a ladder up. That's not going to be a problem for me. It just means that I need to approach it in a slightly different way. We can still get that all sorted. Thank you very much for the info, though. That's super, super helpful. Okay, signal is broken. Good, good, good. Now we can quite happily just lead this. It'll take half of every. Well, actually, an easier way of doing it would be this. And that will just bleed this entire system out. Now, the downside is this place is going... Well, actually, this place is reasonably cool. So, this will last for quite some time. We don't need to worry about it. Londrandir. I keep saying your name wrong. Take care. I hope you have a good sleep. Going to bed, but still listening. Well, in that case, I hope I don't keep you up too long. Plain Seeker, so happy. Ride mushroom, sure. You know what? Let's make sure that gets swept up straight away. Oh, these autosaves. Do we have no more bristle blossoms down here? That's annoying. Actually, cancel that. Does this still count even though the plants are... Yeah, it does. Perfect. You know what? Let's add in a little bit of niceness. On obsidian, because we can. And then... Well, actually, no, we can't. I do need to get at least one bristle blossom for that. But the temperature is coming down now, at least. Thanks to being able to run these properly. Yeah, it's slowly starting to cool this area. As you can see. So eventually these will start growing again. And then they're going to have lovely floral scents. Everyone's going to be happy about it. Have we managed to not kill off all of our Dracos? Hooray! Dracos are not dead! That is very lucky. We had one left. It's a young one as well. Oh, this is good times. So good. Are you in the right... I'm certain I put you in the right schedule. Yes, I did. Not sure why you can't... Why you're sleeping out there then. How weird. Strange. So strange. But while all that's going on, let's prioritize these getting done and these getting done so I can get everything else done. Please and indeed thank you. These ones can totally be built on a priority 6 though. They're in no way necessary. But I've got two kind of side-by-side projects going on right now that are taking a lot of my time. What sort of temperature we got? 139. Slowly rising. I mean, sure, we'll pop it down to 200 and wait for it to get really hot in here. That has got a while to go yet. That sounds so painful when they stop. My lord. That does not sound like it would be a pleasant experience. How much longer am I going to be streaming? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. At least a little bit longer. Maybe another half hour, at least. We might go on a break then, and I might stream for even more time. Depends a bit. How are we doing in here? Still cooling down a little bit. Why is that not being made? Can no one get there? No, I'm going to pop it up to a much higher priority. I mean, to be fair, with proximity, people are doing jobs when they're close to the jobs a little bit more, so it does affect things. Oh dear. Well, I guess that's a thing that's happened, isn't it? I mean, it'll eventually cool down, but... yeah. So... about that... I really, really need to get this sorted quickly. You're going to do it? Oh, thank goodness. There we are. Right. Bleeding out the coolant system over here. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it'll eventually get there. Oh, right, they're trying to build that. That's actually pretty cool. Now, in here, there are going to be a couple of conditions. I may as well set up the automation for it. Much like the other, we will have a thermosensor that's here purely to record what temperature the room's at. Then an OR gate. Wait a second. Did I make that out of lead? No, good. Then an OR gate. I have copper as well. That's checking. We want hysteresis, basically. So a memory toggle will exist here. Stop trying to make it all out of lead. And when the temperature is above a certain threshold, it'll send a green signal. That'll turn all of this on. However, should this OR gate ever be true, it's going to send a signal that'll turn it all off. And the conditions for which it's looking for that will be if the temperature in the room drops below a certain threshold, because I really only want these active when they're going to be getting me a good bang for buck, or if the pressure in this room drops below a certain threshold. That is that these have bled a lot of the steam away and I've not turned new water into steam yet. So I don't want this completely removing all of the steam from the environment. It's nice and simple to hook up. And this comes out there. And whomp. I'll only have this active when the engines are active, with the provision that effectively the hysteresis, if you are familiar with the term, The high point where the system toggles on is like 190 degrees, and the low point is 130 degrees. So there's quite a period of time that these engines are going to be active for that, assuming that it doesn't bleed the steam out of the system. And in that time, that's when I want this to turn on. But then when they shut down, they're going to be down for a while. I don't want them making constant microchips and faffing around with that when there's no reason to be tuning up the engines, because they're going to be inactive for a while, or inactive, I guess is the correct term. We are going to want a way to bring in more liquid, though, and there will be 2 sensors for that, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to build them down there. We want a hydro sensor. Yeah. Ultimately, we'll want a hydro sensor down here to check when the whether there's enough liquid in the system as a whole. Well, actually, this will be the floor, because I'm going to want the this belt to be running through the water at all times. Okay, well, that's fine. If this hydro sensor ever has any liquid there, then there's too much liquid in the system, because the liquid is going to enter on this side and it's going to slowly dribble down all the way over here. So if there's liquid there, then there's a lot of liquid over here. Or that's the way I'm going to assume it's going to be working. So we want to run a cable all the way across there. Also, if gas pressure is too low, then, well, that's the tricky one. If the gas pressure is super high, I don't necessarily want more water entered into the system. I only want more water to be brought into the system if there's no water on the ground and there's a low gas pressure. So if this is true and this is true, and this is false, then I want it to prevent letting anything in. An XOR gate? No, because I want a very specific one to be knotted. Let's see. I could just have change the type of signal here. That's a fairly easy one. So we're going to reverse the signal of the hydro center. So if it's not detecting water and the gas pressure is low, then it's allowed to send more liquid into the system. Did I just build that out? What is with this game? I wanted to build everything out of lead. I mean, I realize that the game doesn't understand I'm making a steam room, but still, that's annoying. There we go. And at this point, I would want this to control an input valve to bring more water into the system. This should exist outside of the system, though, because I don't want the water to be sat in a pipe in a room that is potentially boiling the water in the pipe. I only want water to enter the system if it's going to be deposited in the system. It should never sit idle in a pipe. So there's all the logic that we're going to need for the whole room. I think Twitch is broken. It shows an online Aavak during lunchtime. Also took 3 minutes to properly load the page. Twitch may indeed be broken. There's a pip stuck in a wall. Oh, bloody pip. Get out of there, you silly bugger. Come on. Out you come. Out of the wall. What? Oh. Oof. That came really low. So we're going to need all of that done, but I'm going to allow that to be built on a... actually, I'm going to say it's 7. Right, can we please get this one done on an 8, though? There we go. Thank you. So it's much the same logic as we've got in here, basically. And again, in much the same way... We've got the liquid input outside. the shut-off, all the liquid will back up outside of the steam room. It'll only be allowed in if it's going to be allowed in. And at that point, it can't be stopped. Because if it did, that would potentially be bad. Let's have a look at the temperature of the water coming out. That's not too bad. It's starting to get up there. It's a little bit over 200 degrees. Nice. It won't be by the time it gets down here because it'll bled off all of that heat energy into the environment, which is good. As long as we can keep the smelters running, things will work okay. But it is going to take us a bit of time. Right, at this point, everything has been bled off, so I can now deconstruct this entirely. And in fact, I can deconstruct this entirely. Okay. So, I basically want to move this whole system back by one. This is still going to be the input point, but everything else is up for debate. In terms of the system here, I'm going to say the liquid would enter and go down here and around. That's fine. But do I want it, like, swiveling in the middle of each section? Kind of do. Yeah, I kind of do. What we're going to do is we're going to have the pipe come up and along. Cancel the deconstruction all of it. And then we'll have the tungsten running along the bottom where the generators are. These ones are a special case because realistically these are the only ones that need to be kept at 100 degrees. All the others can happily work in 200 degrees. So these are the only ones that have tungsten in the middle, and that's to deal with their own liquid runoff. I'm also going to need to deal with... actually, let me run this down. I'm also going to need to deal with the polluted water that these will be excreting as well. Or producing as a byproduct, I should say. They're not really excreting it. What temperature are we at? Have a look. Average temp is 150. Not around here. It's actually a lot higher. But still a far cry from that glorious, glorious 190 that I want. Alright, could you give us an overview of your base and what you're working on? I can indeed. You know what, though? We'll do that when I go on break. Remind me, 15 minutes we're going to go on break, and I'll give you an overview when we get back. Just because I really want to try and get this done. Super want to get it done. Right, I want this to be up there. There we go. And this will then branch up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Fuel. Poop. You had to be awkward, didn't you? Okay, so I'm going to have to branch up in a different way for the fuel. That's fine. We'll just go up the top. Each one's going to be different, I suppose. And at this point, I guess we would come back down. Or rather, we'd go up and then back around. Yeah. And then we want radiant tungsten pipes. There we go. I'll give a nice, nice spread in there. We want that one to link up. It'll be insulated on the inside, but here it's just sandstone. It's not particularly efficient at gathering the heat, but neither is it efficient at stopping it. Either it's just a regular pipe. We don't need to make everything super amazing. This is a game I would love the complexity of, but the art style really puts me off. It looks so cluttered. I just can't see past it. Yeah, I mean, there are some people who adore the art style of this game, and as with you, some people who find it really off-putting. It's kind of horses for courses, really, on that one, I guess. Now, I am going to want to hook this up all the way over there. Pump. Oh, yeah, pump. This, however, is going to have to be stripped down. We'll have a battery in there that will control these. For now, I really want to put the batteries down here, but this is going to be a lot easier to set up early on. Like, crazy easier to set up early on. Also, I desperately need these ones done quickly as well. I would like to get the petroleum set up in the system before we go much further. Please be making more iron. Also copper. Thank you. I appreciate. Right, you need to move. In fact, I need all of that moved. Now, I'm going to set this up in a very hodgepodge way. I'm just going to take the pipe out. I'm going to wrap it around and I'm going to let it go in and then I'm going to bring it back in. It's going to be a super simple loop, purely there to keep the generators cool. But it will hopefully help. Now, this shouldn't be... I don't think it produces very hot liquid. Let me just double check that. Does it produce it? It will be at least 40 degrees C or hotter if the building is hotter. Well, it's probably going to be no hotter than 100 degrees. So... what's the best pump I can have? The mini pump is gonna be, yeah, it can't, that can't handle it. It has to be this, which is annoying. Because I can't put it there for some reason. Why? It's probably the the bridge. Yep. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna need to move that then. I have to build it over here. Now those pipes are there to get rid of the runoff from the pumps. To get rid of the runoff from the petroleum generators. And eventually we will have natural gas generators above, which again are going to produce polluted water. I don't recall... yeah, they just drip it as well. I'm fairly certain. Yeah. So we'll have polluted water all over the place in here. So I want these pumps to prevent it from getting out of hand. I guess I could get away with just one, though, I suppose. Depends a little bit, though. I don't want to run the risk of it blocking up for some reason, so... having 3 of them is just that little bit safer. I'm trying to place your accent. Is it South Wales? Yes, it is. There we go. Now, we can get this fully... wide across. There we go. Let's get all of that. It's all been done on an 8. Good, good, good. Need this done on 8 as well. That's already hooked up. Oh, actually, no, it isn't. That's all right. Now, the thing is, as far as I'm aware, the pumps aren't actually going to draw a charge unless they're doing work, so... hopefully that'll be okay. I may be wrong though. Hopefully I'm not. I would be sad. I don't think we need anything more than this to run in this room, given everything that's going to be going on in here. I think we should be fine. And automation. Yep, that automation should work fine. Okay. Let's make sure all of that is done quickly. Right, okay, good. Now, the thermal aqua tuners. Now, these ones need to be, well, realistically, they need to be out of steel. In this room, they need to be. Thankfully, we have quite a lot of steel to play with. On there. I'm gonna say... one here. I can't place one there. That frustrates me. But I could just run them over here. It's ultimately fine. Now these things draw stupendous amounts of power. So we must be cautious of that. But the main thing I need to check is the thermoliquid sensor. Can be made out of anything. Want to be checking. I see. There we go. There's the naughty one. We need to be taking that away. Hopping over a new bridge. Copper's fine. I will have to wait to hook that up properly. There we go. This will activate it only if it's the right temperature. It's going to be insulated pipes made of igneous rock. If not, it branches up. Otherwise, it enters there. The way this will work is this will branch across. Branch straight up, branch straight up. Pipe will simply go across there. Now, this should be okay. The idea here is that if... which do I want to have priority, though? Fairly sure I want priority on the liquids that are going through the yes. Okay, so the priority of travel I want is that I want the machine to get rid of its contents so it's not blocked and thus preventing liquid that I need to cool from entering. So, in the event that there is a blockage, I want the liquid that doesn't need to be cooled to bypass it and then wait until there's availability for it to enter the system. That's the route that I wanted to take. Now, for now, I can happily have it run off just 2 of these. I don't need more than that. But probably later on I will. But we're going to need a lot more power for that. Like a lot more power. Oof. Also, here I am, hooking it up like this. Shouldn't be hooked up like this. No. What I need is to break these, hook this up directly across, so that it filters. This is a single system, and then this one, I can have the entry pipe. It's so cluttered over here, though. It might be better for me to have the pipes end from this side. I know that's going to mean that I'm going to lose the beautiful shape of the abyssalite, but some sacrifices need to be made, unfortunately. Yes, I feel that this is the correct route to take. I'm going to break that off. This will be the cooled liquid, and this will be the liquid that requires cooling. So there we are. But that is going to require extra work for me, because I now need to dig all of this down there. And I want it to at least be 3 wide, because if I don't make it 3 wide, it's going to be a potch. Okay. You know what? It's fine. You can make this work. All of that needs to be done relatively fast. So I really would like this whole system active soon. Aavak, wasn't there something about using regolith to power steam turbines as being a really efficient method? Yes. We're still working on that. I'm allowing them to build. They've laid an egg. How beautiful. Oh. Let's turn that off then. It is getting rather hot. My coolant hasn't been cooling for a while. It is much of a shame. There you go. We're dribbling just enough water onto this to keep it cool. But, oof. The polluted water is actually coming out at a fairly nice temperature, though. But I feel like a lot of this is going back. Yeah, we're sending it back down because it was too warm. It needed extra cooling. But it was cool enough to cool a bunch of the other more industrial systems, so it was fine to be cycled back through that. 40 degrees. By the time it has finished passing through all of this, it's gained very little. Then it goes back at 45. And re-enters the system, comes out at 90. That's not too bad. It is slowly pulling the system down in terms of temperature. But it's got a lot of work to do. This place was gaining heat for a long time while power was down. And it's a hot environment anyway, so... not great. Not even slightly. Oh. How's our... ooh, where's... yeah, we've got a decent backup of natural gas there. I approve. Right, let's have a look. That's good. Let's get some more of that, please. Yike. Right, we want to keep the temperature fairly low. So let's go for... if the temperature is above 50 degrees, it'll turn on. Temperature is above 50 degrees, it'll turn on. So this is just giving me double chance to cool it down if I need to. Alright. Now for the time being, this is the only real coolant that we've got. I could, if I want to, run it through a few things. There's the system down here, obviously. But let's just hook it up to the first real system that we've got ready. That would be this one. It's not ideal for me to be setting it up like this, but it will at least function. And that right now is quite important. Also, we need to start considering how I'm going to get the petroleum up here. Because it's not going to be going down here anymore. It'll be going up there. And in fact, I'll probably set up a third. Ready. Right. What's the current battery settings for my petroleum generator? So I want to copy that, if I can. I could even store some petroleum in it, actually. That would make sense. Copy settings. Clunk. In fact, that makes a lot of sense. But am I going to have enough room in there to store anything? I am. How interesting. Okay. But this is getting messy in there now. Oof. How would I get the petroleum in here? Because I'm using up so much of the room already. I can sort of see a way, but it's going to be a mess. But I kind of feel like having this in there is important, so... It's like a game of Tetris, I swear. Right. It doesn't need to be insulated, but I may as well, for no other reason than I can. And now I need to bring the petroleum up from elsewhere. Sure. I'm going to do this on a priority 9. I may, in fact, bump this up to an emergency priority. In fact, I'm going to. Let's get those done right now, because the moment I break this, it breaks the coolant system. We're on the clock now. Base is getting hotter. Thank you. That's one. And there we go. The cooling system's back up and running. This one I don't mind as much about getting set up. I mean, I'd like it done quickly, but it's not, strictly speaking, the be-all, end-all. That being said, it is the water that's getting us petroleum, so... yeah, once that tank's full, it'll send another batch down, it's fine. This will go back down to 8. Right. When that's there, I can probably set the system to drain out all of the coolant that was left in this reservoir. Because the main heat source will be gone from this area. And I imagine the liquid that we're dropping in, I mean, it's going to keep making steam, but I actually don't mind. Hello, Tufty. How you doing? Alright. It's about that time for me to go on another break, though. I'll just have a quick look around, make sure that everything is hooked up the way I want it to be. Something is being deconstructed. Oh, it's fine. It's not something that's important. Can you reach this? Yes, you can. Good. Alright, then. Got a lot of work to do, but we're getting there. A lot of work to do, actually, but yeah. We're definitely getting it done. Almost put that the wrong way. But this will bring petroleum up to the system that we can use for the petroleum generators. That's the main thing. We'll first bleed out the petroleum from the old coolant system. Then we'll shut down, decommission those petroleum generators, and hook up the main line of petroleum to the new system. At that point, this place is going to start cooling down a little bit. Very, very slowly. But that should be good enough initially. Got a lot of work to do on the new Regolith steam engine. Hopefully we can get that done fairly soon, though. What's the temperature in here? Yeah, it's getting there. It's still got another 30 degrees to go, though. But once this is actively cooling, especially once we hook this up to more things, that's going to really start pulling the temperature in there. Okay, time to lay down a save, and time for us to go on a couple of minutes break.